Today we're going to be doing our full review on the Alien Role-Playing Game Enhanced Edition, as well as taking a look at the game Mother's Screen, Destroyer of Worlds, Rapture Protocol, and the starter set as well. Plus, we do have a giveaway, the Enhanced Edition rulebook. We actually have a second copy, and we'll be giving that away to one lucky viewer, so stay tuned for how to win that. All right, so to get started, as some of you should be aware by now, and basically if you understood what I just said in the intro, there is a new edition of the game. It's the Enhanced Edition. More or less, it's their name for second edition. Now, the game itself has been changed only slightly, in expanding of the rules system, revising some of the specific ones of stealth, stress and panic, and the overall combat system. Basically, one of the big complaints that I've been seeing is the changes to how the armor is factored, and that's specifically, it's basically kind of like compressing the armor values themselves, which makes the xenomorphs themselves feel less resilient. Now, for me, it kind of depends on what type of game you want to play. So, I grew up not having spent much time in the universe, and by the time I actually got into it, I was already playing games like Alien vs. Predator on the Xbox, Aliens Colonial Marines, and in all of those games, the aliens really were not that resilient. And I think that kind of, is more of a nod to like the third Alien movie, maybe even possibly the fourth, where it's not that difficult to put them down, but they are still an extremely deadly foe. Where in the first film, Alien, they were just kind of unyielding, kind of like Nemesis and Forrester in Resident Evil, or the Tyrant in the original Resident Evil, where it felt like, like Pyramid Head, where no matter how much ammo you're dumping into them, it just seems like that they're never going to stop. And in the first Alien movie, that very much was it. Literally the only way that they escaped was, or rather, Ripley escaped, was by jettisoning it out into space. And with that being the case, it was her only saving grace, just because the thing just would not keep coming. It was just her against the thing in the end, and the cat too, if you count the cat in that regard. But the cat didn't really help, other than be a little distraction sometimes. And so you had that going on, and so you don't have a lot of options. And so it kind of took like this last ditch effort to get rid of it. And so, if you're looking for that type of threat, then you might be a little disappointed because of how much weaker they come off because of the armor change. Now, overall though, the streamlining of the rules, the adjustments to some of the wording, making some of the items easier to find, I think definitely is a boon. Now, from what I've read of other people's thoughts on it as well, kind of figuring out where I landed on this edition, I saw complaints that some items were much more difficult to find than originally, and just because of kind of how things were reorganized. I personally didn't really experience that, but I also wasn't really having to look up those rules nearly as often as I suspect those other people were. But let's go ahead and open it up, take a look inside. Oops. Apparently, I did not lower the camera enough, or raise the camera enough. All right, there we go. So one thing that I've always loved about the way Free League does their role-playing games is that the attention to detail, the immersive nature of the books. Now, the original book definitely looked a lot more on the inside like some of the computer screens for Wayland Yutani in the movies did, as well as in some of the video games. And so, the overall look and appearance is slightly different, but not so much so that it detracts from the game. You have a lot of detail, a lot of items, a lot of gear, just generally a lot of options, a lot where you can go through and kind of learn about the missions, play the game. And one thing I do really like, and I don't remember noticing this in the first edition, is instead of a GM or DM, it's Game Mother. So it's still GM abbreviation wise. I think that's more to go with general naming conventions when it comes to role-playing game, because most games essentially have a game master and don't really deviate much from that, thanks to D&D. So keeping the acronym the same but changing it up for this purpose, I think was a nice touch. And then just generally kind of give you an idea of the sizing. And so the art, the attention to detail is always fantastic. And this edition of the game is honestly, overall, I think a far superior version. We even get a nice little map of the stars of the Middle Heavens, which is essentially the main universe or galaxy that most of the alien stuff takes place in. But, I think that what would be really cool, and I don't know if this is a thing, but I think to have like a big fold-out map of this would be awesome. Kind of have it like on your table. That way all the players can see it. And so like, when you're having the players, look to a specific sector or a specific planet, when you give that to them to kind of have them look it up themselves, look at the map and see, if they're going for Grendel, they'd have to look on here, see where Grendel is and go from there. So, it's right there. And pointing to this little, almost island looking piece. And so that way they can kind of figure out where they need to go next or go from there once they get there, so that way they can kind of make a more educated decision. Now, we do have the Game Mother screen, which I think that for any real role-playing game to do well, the Game Master or Game Mother needs to have a screen to kind of hide their activities, just so that way it's not as easy to decipher for the players. I really like the look of this. I mean, it does seriously look like a computer from the movies. So look at the Rapture Protocol set. We have the Free League catalog. We have our cards, our tokens. Now this is the full Rapture Protocol adventure. And now I do really like the map here. Unfortunately, it does not say anywhere on there that I can see that you have permission to copy it. I think having a full copy of this would also be beneficial for those games. But once again, the artwork, the attention to detail is just utterly fantastic. I do see some of the same artwork used between the releases. And so I actually didn't dig far enough to see that there actually were those maps. So that's awesome. And we actually have multiple of them. Kind of just overall different maps, spaceships. things like that. A lot of great detail there. And then you have some pre-built character sheets, basically making this a one-shot that's ready to go. So we have not played Rapture Protocol yet, but definitely plan to. So here's the starter set, which includes Hope's Last Day. So it comes with 2 sets of dice, a card pack, an alien model, which is different than the alien models that come with Rapture Protocol set when you get the model set. Tokens, a dial. We have more of those fancy maps. And let's see this one. On one side being a big map. This is that exact map I was just talking about. It would be awesome to have separately. So obviously we hadn't played this one. So it does have that map. So for players that, you know, are looking for something like that, that's definitely going to be the way to go. And again, we have some rules reference cards for each of the players. We have the adventure book. Just general read me first insert, and then a streamlined version of the rules for the Evolved Edition. Very cool. Looking forward to trying out that campaign. Really love the model. Now this one did come out during the first edition. This is Destroyer of Worlds. We have a much fatter campaign book. Now, as you can see, the different style of the book. Whoa. So we have our pre-made characters, some maps, and then another big fold-out map. Really love the detail there. Putting that away properly later. And now, in my opinion, the best part of this release is the model pack for Rapture Protocol. We have different Marines, NPCs, and then we have a couple Xenomorphs, as well as facehugger models. Some more tokens, and then skirmish rules. And so that way you have alternative ways to play and some great models to paint. So really looking forward to getting these painted up. We will be doing some videos showing the final versions. We are hoping to do at least 1 or 2 painted model videos or like painting videos, depending on our schedule. So look forward to those as they come. A lot of great stuff. Thank you to Free League to sending these to us for our review. We will be following up with campaign reviews for Destroyer of Worlds, the starter set for Hope's Last Day, and Rapture Protocol. And at the very least, be doing some videos showing the final painted models as well. So definitely have some great stuff to look forward to. Can't wait to get started on these. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Now I'm set, painting minis with no regret. Set up fast, tear down clean. It's the slickest station I've ever seen. Whether Pain or Hammer, Walking Dead or Apex, create trophies, a kit that clears the specs. No clutter, no stress, just pop and play. Danger Squad and save the day, babe. I've tried the rest, but this one slays. From dungeon crawlers to sci-fi rays, it's my go-to. My tabletop gem, create trophies, the kit, yes ma'am. So if you're a hobbyist like me, here's the link to paint stress free. Join the fun, let your colors run free. Whether they're Pain or Hammer, The Walking Dead or Apex, create trophies, the kit that clears the specs. No clutter, no stress, just pop and play. Danger Squad and save the day. I've tried the rest, but this one slays. From dungeon crawlers to sci-fi rays, it's my go-to. My tabletop gem, create trophies, the kit, yes ma'am. So if you're a hobbyist like me, here's the link to paint stress free. Join the fun, let your colors run free. Run through your paint.